Well, the Indiana Fever got back in the win column Sunday afternoon. It was a game of highs and lows, emotions, injuries, far too many reviews. But ultimately, they came out on top 99-93 in their first overtime game of the season. A fantastic effort for them to climb all the way back in a game that they trailed 24-11 after the first quarter. They were down by 21 in the second half. That was the most they trailed in this game, and they ended up outscoring the Sun even by 2 points in the paint, where the Sun were so efficient in the first half of the game. It took a 32-point fourth quarter effort. It took 34 points in the second half from Kelsey Mitchell to get it done, and it took some sharp shooting as well, as they were 0 of 10 as a team. The Fever were in the first half from three-point range. They finished second half in overtime 7 for 12, including 5 from Kelsey Mitchell. Now, before the game, an update you all have been waiting on. What's the latest on Caitlin? There's no real substantial update. Still out indefinitely. She was not at this game, away from the team for personal reasons here today. First game, I believe she's missed all season long with the Fever, even when she's not playing. And Coach Stephanie White stressed before the game that the urgency they're currently feeling in the playoff push will not, and it should not, impact her return to the court. The plan for her is still to return this season, as I have been saying, but here's what more Coach White said before the game.
It doesn't really shift anything with Caitlin. I think it continues to be, the most important thing is that she's 100% when she's ready to come back. The timing, it's never ideal, but her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing. Just the experience throughout the year, trying to come back and come back quickly, has also taught her, that she needs to make sure that she's 100%. And yes, every competitor wants to play, but at the same time, doing it the right way and making sure, after we've had a couple of setbacks, that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
It had to be special for Coach Stephanie White before the game. This was her first time returning to Mohegan Sun since last season, since being the Sun coach the last couple of years. You'll remember about a month ago, July 15th, the last game that Caitlin did play, it was against the Sun, but it was up in Boston. She helped sell out TD Garden. This time, she helped, in the Fever, sold out a Mohegan Sun Arena, their fourth sellout of the year. She was not there, obviously was not playing. She's only played 13 games this season, but it was certainly special for Stephanie White to get the embrace, to get the loud applause, and to see just so many familiar faces after she came from Connecticut and brought her staff with her.
It meant a lot. I mean, there's so many special people here, and so many special memories that I have, and whether it was walking out in the casino or coming in and behind the halls here, pregame, just seeing so many friendly faces, and in the stands, it melted my heart. I was so thankful. Obviously, I didn't get to talk to Jen, but seeing Jen across the way too. I mean, it's a special place, and I'm grateful to have had my time here, and thankful for all these familiar faces that I saw.
Now, going into this game, there were some changes, notably to the starting lineup. First change we've seen there here since several injuries, and it was moving point guard Odyssey Sims in her third game with the Fever to the starting lineup over Lexi Hall, and ultimately it paid off. How about Odyssey Sims with a game-high 42 minutes, and so that was so productive. Brianna Turner, by the way, in this game was productive when she was called upon, specifically in the second half for defensive purposes on the interior. One of the reasons the Sun were less effective in that second half in the paint. So here's what Steph had to say about the change to the starting lineup.
It's a lot for us to have all the adjustments that we're making, and then specifically game plan for offense. I think part of the reason moving Odyssey into the starting lineup is we know between Rivers and Lacan, they are going to hound 94 feet. So having a true point guard on the floor to be able to be the primary ball handler, and then you have Sophie and AB in addition to them as three ball handlers on the floor instead of two in that position, so that we can kick the ball up to Kelsey as opposed to having Kelsey initiate offense is also important. So, changing up our starting lineup is one of those ways that we adjust to that. we've got to make sure that we value the basketball. We've got to make sure that we don't assume when we're bringing it up. She's so good at her timing of getting in there and getting deflections that lead to steals. She's got long arms. She's a great instinctual defender, so making sure that we value the ball, but having multiple players on the floor that can bring it up.
A short while into the game, it was deja vu for the Indiana Fever. Yet another player, another key player going down for this team, and it's just one player after another seemingly this season. This time it was guard Sophie Cunningham, who, by the way, until they brought in Odyssey Sims, was handling the point guard responsibilities. So right now they're without their top 4 options at point guard. It's a knee injury. Hartley kind of rammed into her, and immediately she was in pain, immediately clutched her right knee right below it. It kind of looked like an MCL type injury, but if it is as substantial as it looked and as the players reacted, including visiting players, some players were holding up Gatorade towels to cover something, then that would likely put her out for the rest of the season. No update post-game from head coach Stephanie White, but we'll learn more coming up this week, as obviously Sophie Cunningham due to get an MRI, which should tell us more about that the ligaments that are around that right knee area.
It's going to be hard to talk about without getting emotional. I mean, first and foremost, they're good human beings. They're selfless. They're tough. They don't care who gets the credit. They don't care whose day it is. They got something inside of them that you just can't teach. And, they bring it out of each other. And it allows us to go through these incredibly tough times that we're going through, and always gives us a chance. And I'm just so incredibly proud of them for continuing to believe, for continuing to pull together, for continuing to step up. I mean, every single person on this roster impacts winning for us. And every single person on this roster is valued for how they impact winning, whether they play a second or not. They give and give and give to this team. And I'm thankful for this group. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, especially the way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. At the time, it's like crap. And then you go down there and you see her and it's like, okay, just want her to calm down and be able to regroup. And then it turns to problem solving, right? It's how do we put ourselves in position to win? What do we need to do? I think maybe that's how I survive, is going straight to problem solving. But, again, this group is they're special, and I'm thankful for them.
I felt like it was deja vu, man, to be honest. I felt like I just saw AB on the ground covering somebody else up, and it was I think part of it is really, really, truly humbling. But on another side, I think seeing Soph go down, it kind of it fuels you, man. If you care about your team and you care about the people in your locker room, I can't even explain it to y'all. You just really got to care about the people that you play with. And I think it just fuels who we are as people, and y'all get to see it as a team for us.
Now, the Fever got down and then got to within 8, then got down some more, and then made one last big push late there in that fourth quarter to even things up. It was Kelsey Mitchell in particular in that second half, leading them with 34 of her 38 points after halftime. One of the best performances we've seen from her in her career during a career season in which she leads the league in total points and threes, and has just been so dynastic for this Indiana Fever team. It's why I tweeted, and I've thought about it for a while. She should absolutely be in the MVP conversation for the league. She won't win it. I don't think she should. That'll probably be Nafisa Collier. But she should absolutely be getting significant votes in consideration for MVP after what she did in this game, in this season, in this run that she has had. Her ability to stay healthy and be a regular contributor, leading the scoring more than anyone. She's led this team in scoring all season long. It's been remarkable. As players have gone down, she's been one of the stable presence on this Indiana Fever team that has helped them stay afloat, helped them stay in the playoff conversation. Here's what she had to say after this monster game.
It's more about what we did from a standpoint of like the mindset and the mentality from half to half. It sucked for me first half. It just wasn't, and I think that, it wasn't as well for our group, but the resiliency is true in our room. Seeing Soph go down and then knowing what happened with Sid and knowing what happened with Aari and then knowing what happened with Cece, it's like, I think a lot of it was just God and being able to like stay prepared and stay in your mental state to be able to compete. But I really think that that's the most resilient that we've ever been because of everything we've been through. So I think a lot of it you just tap into your team and you just love on your team, and I think, great things can happen. Oh, the competitive nature, the, individual, I could say like, I'm a competitive player and I just love to compete. I love basketball that much, and I think basketball saved a lot of our lives. And so I think the fuel of the moment was it was perfect for us because we needed it. A lot of people don't know what we've gone through as professional athletes and not having a team. Then you have a team and people come in and people go out. I really, really thank our group for the competitive nature because you could have easily given up, and I think that fuel energy from our group is special, man. It's special. No one can break it.
Speechless, really. She was 0 for 7 in the first half and 4 points, and just put us on her back. Made big shot after big shot, big play after big play. She didn't settle. She stayed aggressive, and she willed us.
Aliyah Boston was asked about Kelsey being in the MVP conversation as well.
Right. Oh, I feel like I don't even think there are any words. I mean, when you look at Kelsey's play and you look at what she means to the squad, coming out in that second half and going off the way that she did, I think it kind of speaks for her case in general. She comes out, she defends, she scores the ball, she plays 40 minutes a game, and it's just like, and she still consistently puts up these numbers. I feel like if she's not MVP, shoot.
MVP is crazy. I don't even think I thought about that.
This is another situation at halftime where it had to be tough for the Fever. One, they got to regroup. They're down and have played terrible. It was an awful first half. Also, you go into the training room, which is right next to a terribly small locker room at Mohegan Sun, and you see one of your own in Sophie Cunningham. That can't be easy as well. The emotions tugging you in many which ways, where you feel down on the team. You feel down for your teammate. But yet, there's a lot of play ahead of you. So the Fever made some adjustments, especially with spacing, especially with defense, and with some lineup changes. And then it all comes down to hitting shots, and Kelsey did, and so did several of her other teammates as they were able to complete the comeback, the largest comeback in franchise history. For Kelsey Mitchell, it tied the most points, 38, by any player this year. Here's what Aliyah Boston and Steph White had to say about the adjustments for them to get this win.
When we came in at halftime, we talked about one chipping away, being resilient. That's kind of been our story this entire season. And that's just what we do. But I think right now, even through adversity, I think we're able to see just God's blessing over us. I mean, we're down 21 and we come back and we play. And I think what stands out the most is just everyone coming in and affecting the game the way they did. And it's just been great.
We started setting screens. We took care of the ball. I mean, there's no defense for the transition opportunities we were giving them off of our turnovers in the first half. We gave ourselves a chance by taking care of the ball. We kept our floor spacing. We stayed aggressive to the rim. We forced them to defend multiple actions instead of just one. I think you're beginning to see, Odyssey get comfortable and everybody around her get comfortable with her on the floor. The decision making I thought was really good. Our activity level was really good, and we locked in and honed in on our details defensively, and that's what we're going to have to do. And we made some big shots when we needed to. We got some huge timely stops when we needed to. I thought Bree Turner's defense was incredible. She did a great job coming in the second half and giving us length, giving us versatility. We locked in and got it done.
Yeah, I mean, every day in our huddle, that's what we say together. And it's just more than words for us. I think when you see things happening, there's no other way. If you spread apart, the season goes down quicker than anything else. And we talk about with the injuries, people are probably expecting us to just fold, just like you said, and that's not us. We come in the locker room and we're motivated. We continue to be motivated every single time we step on that floor. At halftime, we're motivated, chip away, and that's our mindset. And just continue to uplift people. When one person goes down, we say it all the time, the next woman stands up. And that's really just been our motto and been what we've had to do a lot this season. and that's what we're just going to continue to do.
Again, this was a game the Fever did not play well at all in the first 20 minutes. You go to the locker room, you reset, you make those adjustments that they talked about, and then also it comes from ultra competitiveness, and it comes from a group that's fighting together in this one. Only saw Sophie Cunningham 10 minutes, and they'll certainly be without her indefinitely now. Kelsey Mitchell finishing with 38.6 assists. Aliyah Boston recording another double-double, 14 and 13, set the new single-season franchise record for double-doubles. Tasha Howard was right there with 18 and 9. Again, you had so many different players step up. Lexi Hall playing 37 minutes, and then you needed another big night, and this came from Odyssey Sims. 42 minutes, 19 points, 7 assists. This is just her third game with the Indiana Fever. And remember, she was on the street. She was available. That's why the Fever were able to bring her in, was because she was a free agent. They needed to sign her to an emergency hardship. They did again on Sunday before this game, her second one, and she came up big for the Fever in the win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a reason that she's here. Her ability to break down defense, to get to the rim, to be a playmaker for herself and for others. She's a scorer, and she's a scoring point guard, and we knew that we needed that. I felt like early she was being thrown in, and she might have been a little nervous, looked like a little nervous, little jitters, and I give Karima and Austin and Bree all coached her in AU, and give Karima a lot of credit. Karima had some conversation with her about, look, the reason that you're here is to be you. And talking about, how she impacts our team and how she can impact winning for us. And she's continued to get more comfortable and continued to get better. And she was huge for us. Not just her playmaking ability getting to the rim, but 19 and 7. Her ability to find the right read, her ability to manage the clock and game situation, in the fourth quarter and in overtime, it was big. We depend on her. And she's continuing to grow in her role with us.
The Fever will come back to Indianapolis Sunday night. Obviously, all thoughts with Sophie Cunningham, as she was in a great deal of pain, will undergo tests and scans coming up here back in Indianapolis. But then the Fever can take a deep breath and relax a little bit. 4 days between games, and that's another reason why it was so important to get this win. After losing, 4 of their last 5 games, 2 in a row, the last 2 to opponents they should have won. It was also games in which familiar theme. They trailed, came back, but were unable to complete the full comeback. Today was a very different situation on national TV, as they were able to get it done and win in overtime, and now they can take full advantage of the break. Here's what that looks like.
Well, it's huge. I think we've, when you look at some of the standings, and we've played a game or 2 games, more than anybody else. We were kind of front loaded in some of the things that we did, and we need the rest, we need the recovery. We had players that played a lot of heavy minutes, so we need that, and we also need time to kind of recalibrate. After Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out how we're going to play without Aari and Sid, and now we got to figure out how we're going to play without Soph. And we've got to figure out, who can play in certain roles. What are our substitution patterns going to be? What kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota twice, right? So it's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
The Indiana Fever are next in action coming up on Friday at home against the best team in the league, in the Minnesota Lynx, Nafisa Collier and company. We'll see how that one looks and who all is available later on this week. A big day for the Fever. You go back to the competitiveness, you go back to the resilience. Those are key buzzwords that are appropriate for this Fever team all season long. I'm Scott Agness for FieldhouseFiles.com. Make sure you are subscribed to my website and my YouTube channel for the best of Indiana Fever coverage.